Berhad. And now I would like to invite Group Managing Director of Pekat Berhad, Mr. Chin Su Mau, for his opening speech and some insight of his company. Dipersilakan, Mr. Chin.
Thank you, Engineer Naim. Good morning. Can you see the screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so it's shared properly. Okay. Architect Ahmad Farid, Chairman of PAMSo, TS Steve Anthony, Acting Director, CEO of SEDA Malaysia, my colleague Mr. Johan C. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you today. First of all, I would like to thanks to PAMSo to invite us to join this webinar. And let me start with a brief introduction of our group of company. Pekat Group, our company is Pekat Group Berhad. Let's start. Okay, our company just get listed on the Bursa Ace market in 23rd June this year. Our company already 22 years old company, and the involvement in the solar, that is wires, Pekat Solar, and also solar loop system Sdn Bhd. My colleague from Solar Loop Systems Sdn Bhd, Mr. Johan C, later will share some information of solar system that we are provided. Okay, this is some key milestone of our corporate profile. We intercept we established a company in 1999, and we have in the year 2021 is this year that we are listed in the Bursa Ace market. As you can see, in the year 2010, which is that we installed the first solar project. That is not our first project, but it's the first platinum GBI GBI certified building platinum status under this platinum central in KL Central. So there's our that to show that we have already 12 years, more than 12 years experience and in this industry. So our solar division wires Pekat Solar and solar loop system. Pekat Solar, basically Pekat Solar is focusing on the PV project that over bigger than 100 kilowatt peak, and solar loop system is basically to focus on the system below 100 kilowatt peak, which is equivalent to a 72 kilowatt AC. That under 72 kilowatt AC basically do not require this license, and for this do not require a license. Sorry, it do not require this for under NEM. You still need NEM license, but you do not need this generation license from ST. So this is the system that do not require a chargeman at the premises. So this is the system that you require a more safety feature. That is under the solar loop system. This is some project reference that we have done in the past. Example like KIP group, we have done, I think totally up to date is about 8 more. And then we have a top glove. We have this ideal quality is basically under Corsan. For Southern we have one quite big installation, which is Sunway Big Box Johor. That is 3 megawatt peak. We have completed, I think, 2019, yeah, two years ago. And Proton project, which is 12 megawatt total, and 3 megawatt is on the rooftop, and 9 megawatt peak for the car park. As you can see, this is the photo at the left lower corner of this photo. This is for the Proton Tanjung Marin project. That is about 20 over acre of car park and for with the solar installation. Beside the car park, we also install, beside the rooftop and car park, we also install the solar for this Duke Highway, the toll plaza. Okay, and also we also done for plus project for those like rest house, and also this is for Micron, the steel Berhad. Also we have done for Sergei University in the PJ, that is near my office. Another project with a rooftop and a car park, which is Cyberview in Cyberjaya. That is some project reference. Okay, and beside Pekat Group, beside the solar system, we also involved in the lightning protection, earthing and lightning protection. For Johor site, which is Pengalang substation in Johor, Legoland Johor, that is also done by us for their lightning protection and earthing system. So beside that, in KL, we also protect the highest building in Malaysia, the Merdeka 118 Tower, and also the Exchange 106. And we also distribute product wires, our subsidiary, Pekat Energy Sdn Bhd trading company. So this is, we carry a product like earthing lightning protection product, and also the solar product and the battery storage system. Okay, this is a basic. Okay, that's all that for the introduction of the Pekat Group Berhad. I think I missed out a slide just now. Yeah, I've done. No, okay, I have done. Daim, thank you. I have done my presentation.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chin. So hope the attendees will get an insight of the Pekat Group Berhad. You can also browse through the official website of Pekat. Next, we move to the main presentation on how this solar panel can be installed on our rooftop. I'll invite Mr. Johan Z for his presentation, and hope he can share on the slide on the full screen presentation mode. Please welcome Mr. Johan Z. I think you are muted. Unmute your speaker. Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, clearly.
Let me just share my screen. Okay, all good. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, thank you so much. Selamat pagi semua. Encik Farid, Encik Naim, Encik Tani, of course, my boss, Mr. Chin. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning, and thank you for allowing us to be part of this. So far, the only questions I'm seeing in the chat room is about signing in and the code, but feel free if you have any questions regarding solar systems, and if there's any questions that we can help you with, we'll definitely love to help you through this process. So today, as shared by the other fellow speakers, we are focusing on solar systems for residential. And that's something that Pekat is really trying to move into to grow this whole market, because there's this huge market that is waiting to be further explored on how we can make a difference in this segment as well. So feel free to type in if you have any questions, and we'll definitely go through them at the end or in the middle whenever something pops up. We have very clear objectives. If we want to see how we can incorporate solar energy into, for architects, into your designs, for whether is it for standalone houses or even new developments. This is something that a lot of people are moving towards in the market, going green and building green township developments. And we are definitely hoping to be part of this journey together. Of course, we definitely want to do this to also make money for sure, but also to make a difference, to see how we can reduce our carbon emission and then make this whole planet a greener one, or making a difference. So before I start, I just like to always start with this simple introduction and explanation of this. Both Solaru, Pekat Solar, we are all part of this a much bigger group of companies called Pekat Group of Companies, where mainly focusing on solar systems, but for different categories of business. So of course, our sister company or the bigger brother, Pekat Solar, is focusing on much larger scale C&I, which is for commercial and industrial. So any factories, solar projects and whatnot will be part under this company. But for solar systems, we are looking to work with residential houses, small C&I, small commercial industry, such as petrol stations, shop lots, smaller size factories that can benefit from this monthly savings from and making use of the sun that we have here to generate their electricity, and also reduce reliance on the grid. So one new segment, which is a segment 3 here, is to partner up with developers, which we are already in talks with quite a few of the bigger players, SPs, SP Setia, Gambuda, EcoWorld, to see how we can incorporate a simple system and how this system can make a difference for their marketing aspect, to make a township a green township, and to just help to make this improve the overall situation that we are in. So a very simple example, 1 acre of land, if you want to build 18 houses, 18 standard size 20 by 70 houses, you require 43,500 square feet of land. Okay, and during this area, if it's a planted area, you have to clear up to 538 trees just to make space for this 18 developments, 18 new houses. How can we give back? How can we make a difference for this? If we can equip all 18 houses with just a simple 4 kilowatt peak system. A 4 kilowatt peak system is just 8 panels per house. This will in turn generate up to 95,000 kilowatt hours of solar energy per year, which is equivalent to planting up to 1,110 trees just by the the reduced carbon emission. So this is one way how, as developers, as partners of developers, as consultants, as architects, and even as a solar company here, how we can look to slowly give back to reduce reliance on the traditional conventional energy or the grid, but to also make use of other natural resources, just like the sun, the solar PV, to generate our day-to-day electricity usage. So in a nutshell, I think this was covered by quite a few of our previous speakers, but just to very quickly summarize, if you can see, over here is a standard house. This design may not be up to your usual architect standard, but it's an illustration where we'll put panels on your rooftop, as much space as we can. These solar panels will convert your photons from the sun into DC, into direct current, and the microinverters under these solar panels will convert your DC to AC, which will then flow through a new AC distribution box, which we will install in your house, and then this will be used to power up your house. Any excess generation, if you don't use, will be then channeled back to the grid. But if you're using it, of course, you'll be powering up your day-to-day house usage with the solar energy. So as shared by Mr. Anthony from SEDA earlier, any unused electricity, any unused generation will be stored as credits. So if you are generating a lot during the day and you're not at home during the day, you're in the office or you're out at different places, you're not using the generation during the day, fret not, you don't have to worry, it will be still stored as credit, which you can use to knock off from your next month's bill or your subsequent days usage and whatnot. So this is a very good policy introduced by SEDA ST, the net energy metering for residential, which allows this one-for-one knockoff. So you unlike the commercial side where if you don't use it, you get to sell it back at a system marginal price, which is a bit lower. Over here for residential, NEM residential, NEM rakyat, you're able to knock it off for a one-for-one basis. So effectively, you can almost go fully 100%. I mean, you can go fully 100% relying just on solar energy and not be using or not be paying a single cent to TNB anymore. If you are following the news, TNB is still making a lot of money. Just probably 2-3 days ago, they announced another record, a very good quarterly earnings. So if you want to reduce that or to save some money every month or to save, just wipe off your TNB bill every month, solar energy is one of the considerations you can make. So what is the difference? There are so many out in the market. There are so many different companies looking to explore to this residential segment. What is SolarRoo or what is Pekat doing differently than others? Okay, so for one, we have spent a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of resources to develop a whole new system. Simply on this same logic, we don't believe in using a same system that we will use for large factories, huge factories. We don't believe in using that kind of same system and install that same kind of hardware into a residential house. Because we find that for a residential house, it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. And we believe that we need a better system, something that's going to be more efficient to cater to our Malaysian rooftops, our different varieties and whatnot, and a safer and more efficient system. This is why we came out, after testing quite a number of different ranges, we came out with a microinverter system instead of the conventional string inverter, which will be used for all our other factories. So we are still using both, but it's just that for residentials and for smaller scale systems, we prefer a microinverter setup. Why? Mainly, number one, it is much safer, for sure. Why? Anything under 72 kilowatt AC, any system size under 72 kilowatt AC, you do not require a certified chargeman to get involved with your system. So touch wood, hopefully there's no such mishaps, but any loose wiring, any loose cables can potentially trigger a spark or trigger, especially with very high voltage, can trigger or can be a huge cause of fire, huge risk for fire. And having a microinverter system, which is much lower input, much lower voltage, we are hoping to be able to reduce that to a very low minimum risk. Of course, with our standard operating procedures for installation, thankfully in our past 15 years of doing solar as a group, there's no such incidents, but we want to further eliminate this risk, especially since we are using this for households. So compared to a conventional string inverter, we are looking at close to 900, 800 of DC input voltage. But when you're using a microinverter system, it doesn't even exceed 60 DC input voltage. So it's much lower voltage flowing through your system, and then hence much safer. Our systems are also built in with natural rapid shutdown. So if there's any leakages, any risks or whatsoever, the system will automatically shut down, and our back-end team will be immediately notified to make the necessary investigations to secure the system. So number one is definitely safety. Number two, a microinverter system is safer. As you can see on the picture on the right, of the slide, that is a microinverter. It's nothing bigger than a little A4 paper, which is very light, and you can just slot it just under your roof. Basically, what it does is you're giving each solar panel on your roof a brain or an operating processor, a CPU for each panel. If you're using a string panel, your entire row of panels are tied together with one string, and that everybody is sharing one processor or one brain or one computer. But if you're using a microinverter, what you're doing is you're giving the luxury of having a one brain for each panel, and that improves the efficiency of the entire system much by far. And I will share with you on the next slide what do we mean by that. If you're using a traditional string inverter, as we mentioned earlier, the entire system is tied together by one string, which is operating using one brain, which is one inverter. So if there's any shadowing, if there's a bird sheet, there's a leaf that's covering one panel, and that panel is only running up to 50% efficiency, your entire system can only perform to that efficiency, to that 50% efficiency. And that's a major cause of concern, because if this is unnoticed, if the leaves are left there and there's no rain, there's no cleaning done, your entire system is going to be running at this low efficiency until the next time somebody comes and maintains the system, which is normally over a span of once a year. Okay, whereas when you're having a microinverter, I'm not saying as a microinverter there won't be any leaves. Definitely there will be, but what we are trying to do is even if one panel is affected, we are going to be able to still generate enough. The other panels can still operate independently because they each have their own operating system, their own brain, for them to still run at their optimum. So if only one panel is affected for a microinverter, the rest will still continue as per usual. So that is why for residential setup, we are pushing completely to move towards this microinverter setup, just to account for shading, to account for performance, efficiency, different roof angles, and we are hoping to see how we can continue further improve for this residential segment. So far, so okay, yeah. I'm not going too fast. If you have any questions, feel free. So, other than benefiting for consumers, how can we cover this end to end? How can we benefit developers or house owners or people in your position who can suggest such initiatives? Number one is definitely a step towards ESG compliant, environmental, social, and governance. And that's something that hopefully more and more companies will adopt this standard. Number two, just imagine what a good marketing tagline will be by any of our developers. Buy a house today, free electricity up to 400 ringgit a month. I mean, normally you buy a house or you buy a phone or whatever, or car, they tell you free warranty for 5 years. Now the different idea now is buy a house, free electricity up to 4,800 ringgit a year for the next 20 years. I mean, imagine that kind of impact and that kind of sales message or this marketing message that you're telling people. And you're not exaggerating, and you're not just doing this, you are helping them save 400 ringgit a month or 4,800 ringgit a year. Yet you are also helping them go green, to save the environment, to reduce their reliance on the TNB grid, hence reducing their TNB bill. And we find that it's such a great package to sell together and to package out together for our end consumers. And it's just not the marketing tagline. Other than saving, it also helps improve your housing value. I mean, there's this research that was published by CNBC just 2 years ago. And this was 2 years ago. I'm very sure the value is higher now. That's showing that homeowners are willing to pay, but this is of course for the US, up to 4.1% higher for a home with a sustainable solar system. Even with a small system, and they're talking about even a small water heating solar system, or even a full-on PV solar system, your value of your house is higher, because you know if you take over such a house, your electricity bill is definitely capped or definitely lowered or subsidized by the PV system that you have. We want to make sure that we are not just selling a system and being hands off. We need to sell a system and continue that partnership together, because these are hardware that's meant to last 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. And we can only do that with this ongoing, a huge arm of our group of companies now, which is focusing purely on operations and maintenance. So with that, our systems, we want to include the first 5 years. We want to make sure that it's covered free. Free O&M for the first 5 years, free insurance for the first 5 years, covered by Allianz, where if you fight with your neighbor throw a rock or throw a coconut on your rooftop and damages the solar system, if the lightning strikes and strikes off one panel, what happens? We will come and get it replaced for you. We will claim now, we will process the insurance claims, and we will be able to assist you this process to ensure that we will get your system back up and running as soon as possible. So we don't want developers to sell a house and the system to end consumers and then worry what if it spoils and who's going to be the one to maintain it, who's going to be the one to fix it. And so that's why we are here to also cover this entire process to make sure that it's really a hassle-free installation that you can rely on. Okay. So our warranties for panels and inverters are 12 years. There's of course options to extend it. And if you're signing on a maintenance package with Pekat Group, then all this will also be covered on, and a contract can be entered into to ensure that this is a seamless process for the next 25 years. We're not a new company, a small company that is making very bold promises that we'll be here for the next 25 years, but as a recently listed co and a 21-year-old company with a huge long track record of reputation, this is something that we can boldly say that yes, for the next 12 years, next 20 years, we can walk through this journey to maintain your system, to ensure that if there's any replacements, we can be the one to do this. So very simple, this is one of the projects that we have been working on. Is quite a number of subset of houses, all same designs, which is what we really like. And they're asking us to see how can we fit in, what kind of systems can we fit in. So over here, we're looking at a simple 4 kilowatt peak system, which is what I used in my earlier example. And this is a 8 panel system. And you're looking to estimated to save up to close to 3,000 ringgit, 2,915 per year. And by so some of the developers are saying, can we increase this? Can we put in a bigger system? And we decided to size it up a bit bigger. For such a rooftop, we can even turn it up to 6 kilowatt peak. So our systems are very modular. It's either you go 4 kilowatt peak, 6 kilowatt peak, 8 kilowatt peak, 10, 12, and so forth. So this is to allow to cater to different needs or different spending class or area. If you're having a nicer area, you may feel like putting in more panels to cater for the higher usage. If your usage is 600 a month, 700 ringgit a month, then of course you need a bigger system along the way. Yeah. Our installation phases, we'll work very closely together with the main con to ensure that the roof brackets, the roof structure will be all in place during the installation of the roof, so we can avoid double work or avoid the risk of leakages in the roof and whatnot. Our partners, of course, our insurance partner, Allianz, they've been covering our systems for the longest of time. All our PV systems go through them. They have a very, very interesting program. I don't represent Allianz at all, but they cover any damages to your system. Number one, if your system is down, is down for whatever reason, for 1 month or 2 weeks, that 2 weeks of loss of savings, they have a plan that will cover your loss of savings. So if your system is down, you're not generating money, they'll pay you back for that generation, that loss. And I thought this was a genius genius package to cover every aspect. Of course, we are fully supported by our O&M, Uppercut Solar O&M team who is servicing our systems nationwide. Talking about whole peninsula, Sabah, Sarawak is also being serviced by our Uppercut Solar O&M team. These are our main components, of course, other than the panels. We have a microinverter here, a junction box, our distribution box, and of course a transfer unit to let you know on the different to let you know on the generation that is being done on a day-to-day basis. All this information will be fit into your mobile app where you can track and monitor your house generation anywhere in the world to see how much you're generating today, how much you save today, save 8 ringgit today, save 20 ringgit today. And the good thing about our systems, because as shared by Mr. Chin earlier, we started off as a lightning protection company, focusing on surge protections, focusing on lightning protection. So we have that privilege to include our very own Uppercut surge protection devices in our junction boxes, in our DB boxes, just to ensure that there's that additional level of protection for our solar systems. This is just a screenshot of a mobile app, how you can track your daily generation, your month to date, your year to date. If you have payments to pay and how your return on investment is like, and just some basic information that will be specific for each user. So in terms of development, we have worked together with Bandai. I mean, other than on top of the rest that was shared by Mr. Chin earlier, we have Bandai EcoSetia, which was almost a 450 kilowatt peaks development for quite a number of the houses there. It's a new development. In terms of other common day-to-day brands that you may be familiar with, this is more on the Klang Valley area. I understand this is more for South. Today's talk will be more southern, but Starling Mall is a neighborhood mall we have in Selangor. Segi University is just down the road from our office. These are a few things that we have successfully powered up along with Sunway Pyramid and quite a few of these other neighborhood malls that we are focused on. So with that, I've come to a close. I wanted to keep this short because it's a Saturday morning and everyone is here for their CPD points. I'm very happy to hand the time back to Naim or to take any questions if there's any, and to help explain this process through even more. So, Encik Naim, I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you, Han, for your presentation. We can see in the Q&A box, there are quite a number of questions. Basically, some of the questions already been answered by TS Steve, but I would like to highlight some of the questions here. Maybe you can, maybe the panelists can give an insight or answer to this question. I will share the slides now. But before that, I would like to okay. Before that, I would like to invite, there is one representative from CIDB, Encik Muhammad Farid A. Hamid. We would like to invite Encik Muhammad Farid to give his views on this solar panel installation. Actually, Encik Muhammad Farid is from CIDB. Maybe Encik Muhammad Farid can you hear me, Encik Muhammad Farid?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So thank you for joining us this morning, Encik Muhammad Farid.
You're welcome.
You're from CIDB. I can see your question in the Q&A box. So some views and some insight from the CIDB point of view. Maybe you would like to share some thoughts on this solar panel from the CIDB perspective.
We are tasked at looking at any construction that meets with the construction terms requirement as in the Akta 520, Akta CIDB. and we are looking at a lot of solar PV installation, especially the large scale solar PV yang dikeluarkan lesennya oleh ST lah, Suruhanjaya Tenaga ya. Then on top of that, we also looking at the other renewable energy yang dikeluarkan oleh SEDA, umpamanya mini hydro dan sebagainya, dan juga di NEM dan FIT yang dikeluarkan oleh SEDA lah. What we are concerned about now is the fact that a lot of solar installation ni dia tak declare, not declared in CIDB sebagai satu projek lah, dan penerima projek ni pun dia tak declare lah. Jadi that's why we looking at that. Dan a lot of times juga kita dapat declaration yang dibuat adalah minimal, dan minimal declaration tu lebih kepada di site preparation, umpamanya earthwork, structural, dan juga kerja-kerja yang structure lah, basically buat bangunan, buat jalan dan sebagainya. Tapi dia tak declare the whole solar panel installation, string inverters, transformers, di LILO, line in line out yang disambung kepada TNB. Jadi perkara-perkara ni kita amat ambil berat lah. Dan kita juga dah keluarkan berapa kalilah notis kepada pemunya lesen ni untuk mengarah kontraktor-kontraktor masing-masing untuk membuat pengisytiharan. Jadi our view in this, as far as energy is concerned, yes, we support solar photovoltaic, but the requirement for the space that's required to generate solar ni, energy ni is large lah, is huge lah. The surface area required is huge compared to micro hydro umpamanya ataupun mini hydro, and we also concerned about the proliferation of coal based energy generation. Jadi kita nampak banyak kilang-kilang ataupun loji-loji tenaga yang sedang dibina yang menggunakan arang batu, sebab arang batu ni dia akan mengeluarkan asap nombor satu, dan juga schedule waste lah. Jadi perkara-perkara ni pada kita is not something good lah. Sebaik-baiknya memang kita gunakan kepada clean energy macam renewable energy yang menggunakan solar dan juga wind generator. Bagi kita memang this is a good way lah, and we applaud the work of SEDA dan juga Suruhanjaya Tenaga lah dalam mengeluarkan lesen-lesen ni. Tetapi kita mohonlah kepada pemunya-pemunya lesen ni supaya mengingatkan kontraktor masing-masing untuk mengisytiharkan projek. Kita ada banyak lagi program-program yang mungkin dibangunkan dalam pembangunan tenaga, dan program-program ni memerlukan juga penglibatan dari banyak experts yang ada di sini lah. Dan in the future we will get in touch with you also lah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Tuan. So,
okay.
Terima kasih atas insight dan view daripada Tuan.
Yeah.
Okay. So, maybe nanti kita akan boleh hope we can be in touch again, so that we get all the stakeholders, key decision maker dalam decision ni lah, to make sure that our RE industry is really sustainable.
InsyaAllah. Dan saya ucapkan terima kasih juga kepada PAMSo Chapter dan SEDA dan juga Pekat Group for participating lah. I think this is a very good session. Thank you.
Terima kasih Tuan. Okey. So jadi kita akan mengambil beberapa soalan yang telah diletakkan dalam Q&A box kita. So, jadi harap panelis dapat membantu untuk menjawab. Soalan pertama ya daripada kita punya audience, how to get a copy of the guideline requirement solar panel versus floor area. Maybe one of the panelists who maybe can help to answer on this technical question. Is there any specific guideline or requirement on the formulation of the solar panel installation on versus the floor area? Mr. Steve?
Yeah, maybe I answer that.
Okay.
The determinations of the capacity of solar is not based on floor area, it's based on the energy consumed. I'm referring to the net energy metering. Yeah? It's based on the consumption. If the consumption higher, and then the capacity will be higher. But that's why, but if the industry can have, say, for example, cross around, I mean, cross about around the, say, for example, residential type of consumption. Normally we use in building, we use building energy index. Yeah? From the building energy index is a translate the amount of energy per floor area. But building energy index also varies from building to building. So there's no specific installation per square feet floor area. So I think at this moment we don't have the guideline, but maybe other solar company, maybe they already have the statistic and they translate from energy consumption per floor area to the capacity of solar floor area, depend on type of building, residential, because residential also have bungalow, they also have terrace, they also have townhouse dan sebagainya kan. So same also other type of building. So from my knowledge at this moment tak ada, but we don't know whether the industry have their own.
Okay. All right. I hope that will answer the question. And now we move to the second question from Anonymous. I know there are effectiveness in photovoltaic cells. Can you share the improve throughout the years? Maybe on Pekat side, can give some answer on this one?
Okay. Okay. Let me answer this question. For the cell, of course, there is many cell technology is now under R&D, and they have successful tested, but it's the only thing is that the commercialization. Currently, the market using commonly, mostly, I think majority is monopod technology. And of course, we are looking into in the near future, there will be a two technology is going to undertake this PERT technology. That will be a top, they call it TOPCon, and another one is called hybrid junction. Basically, these two technology is already in the market for many years, but because of the patent right, that the TOPCon basically is from is a technology which is currently under this Sun Power, which is in our Malacca branch, Malacca factory, that Sun Power, they are holding the patent right, but it's already over the period. So now quite many company, solar module company and cell company already start to include that into their production line. But to change the entire production lines, it will take time because of their, how to say, is because of their investment in the previous manufacturing line. It's a very challenging because they already invest and you have to wait to get back the return of the investment. Only the new production line will be going into it. Another one is hyperjunction, that is basically previously is held by this Sanyo, and then Panasonic took over the Sanyo and the technology is under the Panasonic, but now is already over the period of this patent right period. So also this is another technology that will be going into the market in the near future. So this is the two major that we can expect that in the next 10 years probably.
I see. Okay. Right. I hope this will answer the question from this anonymous guy. So we move to the next question. Can you share using an example of a residential installation in terms of installation scale, size, cost, maintenance, and its output?
Yeah, sure. So can I just share this slide?
Can. Hold on.
Yeah, so basically, I'll just include this example here. If you're looking at a simple 6 kilowatt peak system for a house, this will
You put on
consist of
the full screen, Han? Full screen mode? Presentation mode? Okay, so it will be clearer.
Yeah, so it is a 6 kilowatt peak system. I think this is one of the most common systems that we are doing day to day now, consisting of 12 panels, 3 microinverter. So a cost like this, but this is of course a developer's pricing. If you're doing a standalone houses, the cost will be slightly higher. It won't be this price, but you're estimating between 22 to 24 to 25,000 per house. And then you're looking at generation of annual generation of close to 8,000 kilowatt hour a year, annual savings of 4,400 a year, and that equates to about 360 to 400 ringgit in monthly savings from your TNB bill. So we're always targeting a payback period of under 5 years, and that's why we are including the whole maintenance free for 5 years, insurance free for 5 years, and whatnot. After the 5th year, end consumers have the option to choose. Do you want to continue? Do you want Pekat to be maintaining your system? Do you want to maintain it yourself? Or I don't need maintenance, some may do it. So we have different packages for that. And I think one of the questions in the Q&A was a gentleman was sharing that he was very disgruntled with his system because he had to change his inverter twice. So for us, we have this maintenance program that will cover this kind of costs, so that our consumers are not burdened by this kind of this kind of heavy one-off costs.
Okay.
So we have maintenance packages that if it spoils within the first 12 years or whatnot, we will help you to assist you with the manufacturer's warranty. But if you sign on for a comprehensive maintenance package, even after the 12 years, if it does break down, we will be able to replace it for you with very, very minimum or no extra charges, depending on each package. So as a ballpark figure, we're looking about 2% to 2.5% of O&M of your system cost per year. That is our estimate of maintenance for subsequent years after the free period.
I see. Okay.
Yep.
All right. We move now to the next question. Hold on, let me share my screen again. Okay, I combined the question in this single slide. In terms of government incentives, what is the government providing for the new housing development? How can we incentivize our developer clients? And then secondly, based on your experience, is the developer who first take the initiative to install the solar panels, or it's more to an architect who propose to install solar panel? I think this serves the purpose of today's webinar, I think.
Yeah, so in terms of government initiatives for development, for residential, unfortunately, it is not there yet. at the moment, but we are lobbying and working very hard to see how we can further incentivize this, to propose new initiatives and incentives for developers. For the second part of the questions, is it the developer who will take the initiative or the architect? I think both. With your skill set as architects, if you can, when you're doing your first draft, I mean the
Designing
first
stage,
mock-up presentation stage, if you include very nicely designed panels, I'm sure the developer will also jump on board.
Okay.
But also now with today's knowledge on how we can also give back and how we can market it as buy a house, free electricity for the next X amount of years. I think it changes the whole ball game again, and we definitely hope for the partnership of both architects, consultants, and developers to also jointly take this up together.
You see that nowadays, I mean, back 5 years ago, the government put a lot of efforts in promoting affordable houses. So, do you think that this segment of housing, the affordable houses, namely under Prima, under PPAM, specifically landed houses, is it suitable for this kind of houses to be installed with these solar panels?
Yes, most definitely. We basically, the rule of thumb, any electricity above 100, 200 ringgit, above that threshold, it does make sense to do it. If your bill is less than 100 ringgit, 80 ringgit, then I will, as much as I want to make and to do your business, I would personally advise you against it. But if you are doing a 3-figure electricity bill, you can do it, although the requirement is modular, you see. So if you use less, you just put in a smaller system. You use more, you want a bigger system, there's space for that depending.
I see. Okay.
So, or even for the low cost, there are certain projects that we are working on to also incorporate, to just remove the electricity bill, to just give them that 100 ringgit a month kind of threshold.
Maybe I would like to invite Mr. Steve from SEDA to give some inputs on this government initiative that maybe they have offered before this. Maybe you can share your experience on this one, especially on the initiative to developers take up these solar panels on the rooftop.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Naim. For the government, they have centralized all the incentives to MIDA actually. So in MIDA, they have several range of incentives, and this solar panel is fall under the green technology, similar to energy efficiency, other than green technology. But solar, I think, is fall under that. The only thing is, I'm not very familiar on how they categorize it. Either it's for owner, for domestic, or for commercial. Need to check because every year the incentive will change, depends on how the budget announced. Yeah. And that is on the federal incentive, but there is some also local authority, for example, like Petaling Jaya, they also give a tax rebate incentive to those install green technology or use green technology, and solar is one of them, whether solar photovoltaic or what solar water heater. Yeah.
So for this kind of incentive from the federal, where would the developers or who have intention to look into this, where they can refer to this kind of incentive? Is it under the MIDA official website or
under MIDA? Yeah, MIDA.
And for the state level, for example, the PJ, they have to refer to the Majlis Bandar Jaya.
Yes. Depend on which area. I mean the municipality.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Like for example, I know MPPJ in some, if not mistaken, Seberang Perai ada. KL, I heard also during meeting with Datuk Bandar, they intend to have that because Kuala Lumpur mensyaratkan 30% renewable energy on new building. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we move now to the next question. We are talking about PV solar panel. Latest technology is about BIPV, building integrated photovoltaics, which is integrated on building facade. This could be selling point for developers. Any update on the system and available service provided? What is SEDA's views on this? Maybe you both can answer from the perspective of Pekat and SEDA.
I think I let Mr. Steve to answer. Then after that, I add
Yeah.
on some comment.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
With respect, we let Mr. Steve to answer first. Okay. Thank you.
yeah, in terms of
Please.
BIPV, I think if it's designed from the beginning, that's the best way lah. Because normally photovoltaic installed after the building completed, I mean, they put on top of the roof, existing roof. But if the building is designed, from beginning with considering to have photovoltaic, it can be done. Like for example, the Green Tech building in what they call in Bangi, the Geo building, and also Energy Commission building is one of the example that public can visit and have a look lah. Tapi again, is based on how creative is the architect or the building designer to integrate it on the roof. Yeah. So technically, maybe the solar company know better lah.
Okay. Let me comment this building integrated photovoltaic. From our past experience, we have submitted many proposal to owner or client on the building integrated photovoltaic. Okay, so but most of them, they have done one BIPV is something like they are still using the common PV module that market is using. Is not really using those who are special built for the BIPV module. The reason being is commercial issue.
Okay.
The investor, most of time investor, they want the building. They will always say that I want my building, the window is with PV module and all those things. But at the end of the day, when the costs come in, they run away. So it's always still go back to the investment of the PV system and how long they can get back the return.
I see.
Yeah, so it's at the end of still commercial. The dollar and cent come
The
first.
dollar cent kind of thing.
Dollar and
Okay.
cent come. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Han, you seem to want to add on something. You have anything to add on? Okay, so now we move to the next question. This is a very technical one. What is the ballpark cost per one three-phase unit terrace house? Is there any estimated?
Okay, so it varies. If a ballpark cost for Encik Farid's house will be very expensive because dia punya rumah sangat cantik. So cost for my house will be different. I mean, I think Mr. Steve Anthony mentioned earlier, so it largely depends on your usage. So we have three-phase houses where their monthly usage is only, the monthly bill is only 200 ringgit, 400 ringgit. Then you don't need a very expensive system. You need a 4 kilowatt peak system, a 6 kilowatt peak system. If Encik Farid, then he needs a 14 kilowatt peak, 12 kilowatt peak system. So it largely depends on that. What I can tell you is if you want a preliminary free quotation, let me know. I will just, my number has been publicly made available by my boss. So so send me a text and I'll get somebody from the team to
we'll get your details published.
Yeah, to base it off your actual TNB usage rather than your phase, rather than whether it's a three-phase or single phase.
Okay. So very much on the data from the monthly electricity bill that you can conclude what is the best system that can be installed.
Yeah, so two things we always look at. Number one is TNB bill, your usage. Number two is roof space, roof restriction.
I see. Okay.
So it's always these two things that we look at.
All right. Okay, we move to the next question. Okay. What would be the best approach at the moment for a new residential development to apply and install PV for purchases upon completion? Mr. Steve or Mr. Chin?
Best approach for at the moment for new residential development to apply.
Sorry, I'm just going to add in the best approach is to really speak to a partnering EPCC.
I see.
Like this, and they will usually have the full set of documents, everything ready and we'll advise you step by step throughout on what you need to apply to SEDA, what you need to apply to ST,
I see.
for any new developments. So usually with the EPCC side or the PV supplier side will be able to advise you on this end-to-end process.
Yeah.
So
you
the
can-
EPCC, the EPCC actually the company that been authorized by SEDA. It's on their approved EPCC company, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like our company lah. So you can
Mhm.
you just approach us. We can advise you.
Okay, see. Okay, all right. Okay. Next question. Okay. On the battery matters, do we need battery backup for domestic setup? If no battery, does it mean during nighttime or raining days, power will be from PNB? And then the third one, I combine on this matter. NEM Rakyat scheme after 10 years, when the owner cannot sell back to the power generated to PNB, will the owner required to install a battery system so that they can use the power generated in the daytime and at the nighttime? It's all on the battery lah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'll
I think I let me comment a little bit. Okay. Of course, the backup battery, if you want to install a backup battery, also can, but at the moment, it may not be so a financial, commercially viable because of if you don't look at a return on investment, then it's okay. Then, but without because of that's why I think SEDA have a good program that NEM, which is to when the NEM program is to cater for without the battery, so that when you have excess of energy, you can export to the grid, and the grid will be like your storage, so that you can offset during the raining time or the power night time. Okay. So for the 10-year, I think just now Mr. Steve already mentioned after 10 year that you can either you can install these how to say battery storage, because the price might be going down to a price to the level that is your investment will be have a good return. Another thing, I'm not so sure that I think probably Mr. Steve can add on some comment on the P2P, because industry like us, we are looking, is like after 10 years, hopefully that the P2P program is available. I think now a lot of countries is already start implement that. So I'm not so sure the government have such a direction. But may not be immediate, but I hope that in the 10 years time, the government have that kind of directive, so that either after 10 years, they can, if there's a P2P in place, then they can sell the energy, trade their energy for the access, or else that I think the battery storage is required to install, or then you have to be only turned into the Celco, that you don't export the excess, you just waste it. But because your return on investment is less than 10 years, so you just use whatever energy that required during that daytime. So the balance, it will be it will be a limit the generation by to limit the generation of the system lah. Okay. Mr. Steve, I think you can add the comment.
Yeah, I think in terms of which one, the after 10 years, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, the guideline clearly mentions will be depend on the current policy during that period. So now at this moment, there's no extension of the 10 years. But we don't know after that. maybe at the year 9 or year 10, maybe there is changes or whatever. It depends on the policy of during the period.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah. When we come to P2P, okay, currently because P2P, the what they call it, the alpha testing has been done by SEDA, TNB, grid operator, and so on. And some what they call prosumer lah, client and so on. The result is actually is good. The only thing is because very small participants, but the Ministry of Energy decided that we put on hold on the P2P because P2P will requires update of the regulation, because currently the one that can sell to other parties is only the DL, the distribution license like TMB. But once you are selling to others, meaning to say it's already what I call need to change the regulations. Yeah. But actually the application the what I call the application of P2P is already applied partly under the name Nova. Remember just now mentioned one building, they generate more, they can sell to other 3 accounts, but still within the same organization, because the same organization, because the law said you cannot sell to others.
Okay, yeah. It must be within the organization.
Yeah. So that's the thing.
Yeah, I believe personally, I believe our country is going toward that direction, but it's not that one overnight they change the. But I think quite reasonable that the SEDA and ST are putting up some like initiative, say that actually a P2P is probably the NOVA is something that to kick off and a try. And probably they will extend to P2P in future. So I believe that our authority, they have some plan in mind. Probably it's not to change it overnight, but slowly toward the direction.
We're moving to that direction.
Yeah, because the whole world is going toward the direction also.
Okay. Now we have question from the floor. Go Yang Pin Peter. Maybe Mr. or Miss Go can ask directly to the panelists. Please, Mr. Go. Hi, Mr. Go. I think it's not run yet. Maybe no. So now we move to the next question. This is one I think for you, Han. How did you work out the numbers of trees?
Yeah, I'm
Is there
answering a lot
any
of
formula?
all these. I'm actually answering a lot of these questions in the chat as I go along, because they are asking a lot of questions, but let me find that question. I typed it out there. Also, what we do is we calculate in terms of carbon CO2 emission reduce. The formula that we have been using or given and verified is 0.01173 trees per kilowatt hour generated. So if you calculate the number of kilowatt hour you generate per year, you multiply by this 0.0117, this will give you a rough estimate of the number of trees you are saving.
I see. Hope this will answer the question.
I also answered it on the chat as well.
Yeah. I can see on the chat box. Okay. Sorry.
Actually, can check out in the Google search. There's
familiar how to
a lot of information in the Google search.
Okay. So next question. I think this one is from one of the user that been installed the solar panel. I've installed a PV system in my house since 2010 under Surya 1000 program. And it was standalone and later connected to the grid. And finally, I removed from the grid as it was not economical. I have to replace the inverter twice over the years and do maintenance works due to faults from the inverter. My question is basically based on the cost of the size of the system installed, what is the cost of maintenance? Maybe in percentage of the cost of investment. This one is way back in 2010 under the Surya 1000 program.
Okay, I think let me answer this question. Okay, in the year 2010 for the Surya 1000 program, that time basically this is the program that the government subsidize the program, meaning that when you install, probably you only pay 20% or 30% of the system cost. the less of the system cost is bear by the government under that program. Okay, during that time, I can give you an example. During that time, the PV modules is probably the US dollar about $1.50 US dollar. Today, the PV module per watt is from the $1.50 now, I think dropped to about 20 over cent. Okay, so even the inverter technology is already improved so much, okay, and more economy, so and more reliable, that probably you can think about to and then the modules, PV module compared to that time to now, that time I think your one PV module is only 200, probably about 200 watt or less than 200 watt. Now per module is already over 500 watt. Okay, the technology will improve so much. So for your time, the maintenance probably quite expensive because not many company involved, and then also the company involved in the maintenance, they don't have the volume. Today, I think like us, we the maintenance per house for the residential is in the range of if I'm Han, you correct me if I'm wrong. It should be in the range of about 500 ringgit to 1,000 ringgit per house for a general normal installation. Is it correct, Han?
500 to 1,000 for
O&M maintenance per year.
Depending on system size, we usually use about 2% of the system cost.
It's about there.
About there.
Yeah, 2% is about there.
2% of 20,000 would be about 400,
about
400 a year.
400. So 400 is about 500 to 1,000 for residential.
Okay. Okay, I think I need to open a question from the floor who from the attendees who wish to ask question directly to panelists. You may do so by raising your hand in this chat box. Okay, now I invite Mr. Chun Peng Lee. Maybe you can ask directly to the panelists.
Can you hear me?
Okay, can you a bit louder a bit, sir? Hello, Mr.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I am basically an architect. I design and build as well as develop. Your basic unit that you calculate is about between 12 to 24,000, depending on the complexities. The issue is this, that represents about 15-20% of the total construction cost. Now, I think it is beyond what the developer will provide, unless it's charged back to the end user, people who purchase a place, giving them a certain amount of warranty that you're going to save on electricity, otherwise you can't sell the houses, and charge it back to the buyers. So I think maybe all these configuration technology and so on need to be looked into by way of the viability of construction and sales price. I've explored this before. And now, the other thing is most of the, let's say I just finished 600 units of terraces. They're all basically strata title, which means that it's a common property maintenance and so on. So the installation cost, the preliminaries of it, if you do it on a project basis, probably it's lower than normal. But still, it's quite a substantial amount. In terms, I'm looking from a construction point of view. It's quite substantial compared to the overall capex. So, and if you're going to do it on every house, it may not be the solution because it is a common property as far as roof is concerned for strata. I think you ought to begin to reconfigure and consider that when architects and constructors go back to you and to try to rationalize to get down below at least about 12-13%, right? Another no more than 12,000 per unit. Otherwise, it's very heavy and everything. If you can aggregate most of the even the what do you call these panels onto about 20% on the roof or something, that will save you a lot of costs. So perhaps I was going to call you and discuss this privately on few matters, but just my comments. And I think it is something that will move the implementation forward if you begin to realize and discuss with the constructor and the developer on the percentage of the cost and allocation of how you're going to put it into his construction costs, and then transfer that as part of the sales price, provided you give a warranty that your consumption of electricity so much per month is taken care of, somehow. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that. Just to, I mean, these are definitely points that, if I understand you correctly, these are definitely points that we have also spoken to a lot of the existing developers about. And this cost of these extra solar PV panels, or these solar PV systems, is usually passed down to end consumers as well. I mean, a large part of it will be passed down as well. So if you're looking at to not make it more than 12% of the overall, or 14%, if I'm not mistaken, of the overall system, of the overall house price, it really depends on what kind of system size that you are looking to achieve for each of these houses. Definitely, we can keep it within 12% or smaller, but you may end up with having a smaller system. In terms of communicating the total savings per year, that is definitely covered. We have a PVC system that will calculate as what will be the specific yield, what will be the sun hours for this particular area, and how much you're going to be generating each day, each month, each year. So all these and all can be provided and then passed down to the end users at the, on the marketing aspect as well.
Okay. So maybe Mr. Chun, sorry, hopefully you managed to get a contact number that we put in the chat box. Maybe you can reach out each other later. Okay, now we move to the next question. My slide here. Basically on the cost lah. How much is a 4 kilowatt peak solar system cost, and 4 kilo peak watt, is it the smallest system that you can design?
So a very ballpark figure, a 4 kilowatt peak system, we're looking anywhere between 15 to 18,000, depending on the roof type, location, and whatsoever. But a ballpark figure will be 15, 16 to 17,000 for a system like this. Is this a smaller size? To end consumers, yes, but we have explored the idea with developers to do even smaller than that. We have an oncoming one with one of these developers where we are doing a 3 kilowatt peak system. And even for a low cost housing that we are also in talks with, that is a 2 kilowatt peak system. So these are more, because we have that kind of volume, they're doing a couple of hundred houses, and so we are able to do these smaller systems. But usually for end client, if you're doing a standalone house, we will say the minimum, yes, is 4 kilowatt peak.
Okay, see.
Yeah.
So next one. Mainly on the technical part, on the warranty. I've installed solar panel on the completed house. Do you consider leakage and loading to the existing roof structure?
So all this will be considered and investigated thoroughly before the installation, and it should be done by the EPCC provider. So usually during this site visit, they will explore, and if the roof needs repairing beforehand, for us, especially for Pekat, we will definitely inform the client, and we will not start work until that is done, because it's just too much hassle at the end of it if there's any potential leaking and we need to remove all the necessary. So all this, we will do an investigation and during the site survey to make sure that the roof is suitable before we even proceed.
Okay. Moving on to the next question. Okay. Rooftop mounting may require additional structural strengthening as the panel's weight without mounting is about 16 kg. meaning 4 panes, 6 panels will add considerable weight to the roof. Does the installation cost include this short term and long term?
So I think it's quite similar to the previous question. It depends on the roof condition before installation. It's not a one size fit all. We can definitely fit for all roofs. No, they will do the site survey to ensure that the roof is actually in a good condition before such installations are being made. And currently, a panel is no longer 16 kilos. The current panel in the market now, we're looking, it's 26 to 30 kilos per piece. So we definitely have to make sure that the roof structure is good.
Okay, let me add on something on this question. Okay, for the panel to be installed on the roof, basically a general roof is not an issue, because if the roof is, because when the civil engineer, when they design the support for the roof, is already taking into the consideration of the moving load, such as people to be walk on top of roof to do a maintenance. That normally they will take into consideration of over 200 kg per meter square. Our panel is per meter square with all the accessory, everything, it will be definitely less than 20 kg per meter square. The panel just now Hans say 20 over kg, which is is about 2 meter square per panel. So per meter square with a mounting structure and everything is less than 20 kg. And when the panel is already installed on the roof, basically that area, it will not, a person will not be stepped on the module, so that the moving load on the per meter square at the area, it definitely is much lower than the roof design requirement. So this is generally the solar install on the roof is not the issue. For this is for me to answer this question.
Okay. Right. So moving on to the next question. I think it's more on the application for procedure and then details of the existing roof. I think that already answered by Mr. Chin just now. In the detail, you maybe need to check with the engineer, civil and structural engineer. Okay. This one, are there local companies? Is there any local company able to design and supply all solar generation equipment, including batteries for complete of our grid accommodation for single residential or resort chalet type development?
Okay, let me answer this question. A local company to design supply, okay, to design the system is not the issue. It include the battery is not issue. This, like for example, our company, we have done many. Even with the battery storage, we have as just now we have show you our project in Longhouse, Sarawak, which is already include the equipment. With all those things, complete off power grid accommodation is not issue. Chalet also not an issue, because like us, we have done several projects like a resort that is without grid, that power
off
is
grid,
power. Yes, is power off grid. That I think is not an issue, but it's not many. It compared to the company involved in the on grid, off grid company is not many lah. So like our company, we have we also involve off grid at the same time, because we have a company specialized in off grid. Okay, right.